Yeah, I checked the current with my clamp-on ammeter, and it's just a little over 100 milliamps there, and that's running the voltmeter plus 1 watt into the Raspberry Pi, so that's maybe 120 milliwatts going in and 100 milliwatts going out. I wanted to also test out the output of this USB power adapter here, so I've got my Raspberry Pi running right now, 0.21 amps, 210 milliamps. I've got my tablet, and it takes about 1 amp when it's charging. So let's see what happens. So we go up to, looks like 0.77, 0.78. Yeah, and so now I've shut the Raspberry Pi off, and yeah, it looks like this device is pulling just over half an amp, 0.55 amps. So what I want to do is I'll swap this over to the 2.1 amp plug and see if there's any difference here. So now I've got the Raspberry Pi booting up. I've moved to the 2.1 amp plug, but it looks like I'm only getting 3/4 of an amp. So I'll try just having the one tablet plugged in there. So I'll shut down the Raspberry Pi again and move it to the other plug. Okay, now I've got the Raspberry Pi plugged into the 1 amp plug, and I'm going to plug my tablet into the 2 amp. You can see that come up. Okay, now we're getting the full 1 amp charge. Let me change it to the output 2 and see if there's any difference there. Yeah, change to the output 2 and I get the same output. There must be some interaction between having the two devices plugged in. I will try plugging in my GPS to see if that pulls a little more current. Yeah, there we go. Plugged in my bike GPS. It pulls about a half an amp, and the tablet's taking about 1 amp, and we're getting 1.41 amps total. So I guess that is a 2.1 amp socket. There must be some interaction with the Raspberry Pi. Maybe I will check the power consumption at this output. Okay, I checked the 12 volt DC power, so we're 13.8 volts and it's 0.6 amps at that power output, so we're doing about 1.6 amps at 5 volts. We're looking at about 8 watts input and about 8 watts output. So that's a pretty efficient converter, well up in the 90% range. Not much more you can say about it. It seems to work. It's running off solar power, and yeah, it doesn't seem to be affected by voltage. It was up 14.5 volts down to 12.9. You know, the USB output is pretty steady. Anyway, I will try to wrap this up here. If you have any questions about the installation, put those in the comment section below and I'll try to answer those. And you can check out my other solar power videos. I'll put a link to the playlist here in the upper right corner. You can subscribe to my channel for updates. And as always, thanks for watching.